Hi, my name is Kat, and I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy on August 8th, 2018. I had a high starting weight of 200, nope, 370 pounds, and my program required me to lose a certain amount of weight before I could set a surgery date. And I was given a goal of 40 pounds. I ended up losing 50. So my day of surgery weight was 320 pounds. It is now 1 year and 11 months since my surgery, and I have lost a total of 50 pounds since surgery and 100 and God, I should have 140 pounds since surgery, so a total of 190 pounds. As of today, I weigh 180 pounds. Well, I've, I've only lost 1 pound this month, and it's been the up and down and up and down. My weight, especially out this far, is very, it moves are slow, and they tend to be like, oh, you're here, you're plateauing, and then you're going to like, okay, I'll have a drop, and then once you get to that drop, you'll go up and down in that area, and then go down a little bit. So it's like the worst toddler trying to walk down steps. But I'm happy, that I lost a pound. I'm also happy that this means officially for my height is 5'5". And because of that, that means my BMI has now down to the very tippy top of overweight instead of obese. When I started this whole process, I was, I think, a BMI of 60, and now I'm a BMI of 29, just and point something. But it took so long for it to, when you're looking at the BMIs, to move through the three different levels of obese. If you're not familiar with BMIs, there's like underweight, then healthy weight, then overweight, and those are all, they're reasonable areas, I guess, but they're pretty tight. They're like, um, 10 pounds, 10 to 15 pounds, like spaces. Um, and then you get into obese, and then there's severely obese, and then there's morbidly obese. And I started in morbidly obese, and nobody wants to, be called that. And like it just took such a long time to get down through that process, and I'm very happy to be where I am. I want to get down to a healthy BMI. I am still pushing. I am using the Get to Goal. Geisinger, I think is the name of the company that makes it. They have a app that basically you track your weight in there, and it has data from other weight loss surgery patients, and it lets you know, it's like, oh, you're doing on track. You are where you should be as a weight loss patient, or you are, you need to keep working, which means you're not doing as well as you should be doing. And then there's above average, and I have, usually been close to the above average sides the whole journey, but sometimes closer to on track. But I sort of like hover in between those, and I have passed, like, I think I can actually just look. I'm pretty sure the data that they have for two for 2 years, because they have goals in numbers, and I'm just going to switch over to numbers. Okay, so I don't know. Can you see that? And it's probably backwards. Maybe not. So how that figures out is at 6 months, if you were above the average, you were going to be at like 6 months out with my weight. Like I put my weight in, so it's all calculating weight based on people who had the same amount of weight lose as me, or generalizing it. So if I were above average at 6 months out, I would be 245 pounds. If I was on track, I'd be 257. if I still needed to work on it, I'd be 269, and I was 250. So I was better than on track, but not as good as above average. And then at a year, above average is 210. The on track is 227, and keep working is 243. I was at 216. So again, closer to above average than not. And in 2 years, I don't have my 2 years because I still have a month to get there. But above average would be 187. I'm at 180 already, so I'm beating it by 7 pounds. So that is great. It does also say, I'm going to see if I can do this. Okay, yeah, I think you can see that. You see how all of those, the red is the keep working, blue is on track, green is above average, and the very, very, very squiggly line is me. But all of those at 2 years, yeah, pretty much exactly at 2 years, they start to curve back up, which is the bounce back or the regain that a lot of people talk about. And you know, it's out there that people gain between I've heard between 5 and 15 pounds normally, and that you can't, you know, like obviously some people gain everything back. And we were in a support group. We were in a support group without our fearless leader, who is the woman who used to be our case manager, and we've been doing everything on Zoom recently because of the disease. And it's been nice to have the support group and just to be able to go into Zoom. And we had a post-op only support group without our our case manager, and people were a little bit more honest about what they were doing, and how they were cheating and stuff like that. And I'm honest here. I eat popcorn, and I have had popcorn recently. Not great. I've also had some sugar recently, which I shouldn't do, but I'm going to blame IKEA because they kept giving me freaking candy bars when I would place orders. I'd go and pick it up, and I'm like, I would not buy a candy bar. Okay, I take that back. I have sugar-free chocolate and sweets and stuff like that. But like an actual sugar candy bar, no, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to purchase that. But people keep freaking giving it to me, and one of my biggest things, triggers, I guess, triggers is the word, free food. If I don't like the food, then it's fine. I don't have to eat it. But I don't know if it was just because we didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid, so we didn't have a lot of treats. But free food is a thing for me. If there's free pizza, free donuts, something like that, I can, like, if I have to pay for something, I can walk away from it. But if it's free, it is hard. So anyway, yeah, I'm not getting anything more from IKEA anytime soon. So hopefully that won't be an issue anymore. But yeah, I actually spent the last month doing a lot of home improvement work. I got obsessed with some people on YouTube, decorators and stuff like that. And I actually have a plant. It's not a real plant, but it's pretty. But I just started, trying to, it's like I realized we've been in our house for 5 years, and I wanted, and there was a lot of places in the house that were still temporary spaces. It's like, well, we'll just use this like this for now, and we'll see what works. It's like, okay, we've been here for 5 years. We're going to be here for another 5 years. I can buy a real thing of shelves rather than some plastic bins stacked on top of each other in this space to make it feel like an adult space. And it feels a lot better. Like every place that I put work in and upgraded felt good, but it did mean going to IKEA, doing their click and collect, and they give you your receipt with a candy bar. And I ate that 3 times. So yeah, that was not good. But when we were talking, like I said, my thing is free food. I try to not be in places where there is a lot of free food, which is good. My office usually doesn't have a lot of it. Occasionally there'll be donuts, but it's not a big thing. But the in the support group, people were talking about, somebody was talking about how she felt like she had lost too much weight, and she was, trying. She seemed like she was actively trying to gain, and she wasn't that far out. She's only like 9 months out, and I'm like, maybe you didn't have. I don't know what is up with that, but she was talking about eating goldfish, and I'm like, goldfish are one of those. It's not necessarily a trigger food for me. I didn't have goldfish when I was a kid. I wasn't, that wasn't my era. So I have had goldfish, but they strike me like popcorn, like something that you can easily just keep eating and eating. And she has them regularly. She intends to keep having them regularly, and she has all of, and she had like sugary stuff, and I'm like, okay, but it's like, I understand that you feel like you have lost too much weight and you want to gain some of it back, but you will, and it's like, it'll even out eventually. And also, if you are not developing the habits long term, it's funny because we were talking about, like, afterwards, a couple, one of the guys and I stuck around and we kept talking, and the people who have been in the program the longest and still come to support group, which I think is a really key thing. I know that support group, if you have a program with a support group, they say that support group is one of those things that, if you stop going to support group, you have a bigger chance of regain. Also, like, if you're snacking, so I try like, I do have sweets occasionally, but I always have them attached to my meal, because if I don't have it attached to my meal, it's a snack. If I have it attached to my meal, for me, it's dessert, and like, it finishes the meal, and I feel that closure, and I'm done eating. Um, I think I know my support, the person who leads our group would disagree with me about that not being a snack, but yeah, I'm still calling it the meal. If I start to gain, like, I have some things that I know are questionable activities. Like, I drink carbonated beverages sometimes, and I know that if that's something that can irritate your pouch. So if I start having problems tolerating protein, like keeping I eat dense steak pretty much every day, um, and if I have problems keeping that down, I'm starting Carafate and stopping doing the carbonated, because then it's like, then that's something I can't do. If I start to gain weight, then there are things that are in my diet that I know I can just cut that out and stop it and halt it quickly. And that's always my key, is like that's why I weigh myself every day, to identify a trend and to stop it quickly. If it gets out of hand, I need to be agile. I need to be aware. I need to not have too many variables also, like, um, if I'm doing a lot of things and I don't know what is causing something, then that's difficult. I have been, working out, but I know that I don't lose weight because of workouts. I think I stay healthier, and I think I can keep the weight off more because of working out, but that's not why I am losing or not losing weight. That's not it. But yeah, I'm very focused on the long term. And when I started to say this and got distracted, but when we were talking about it, we know, Terrell and I noticed that the people who have continued to come to support group and continued to keep the weight off, and keep being there, that they all have kind of pedestrian routines, like they eat the same things all the time. And we were even talking, it's like, like, if I'm going, like, I went to Disney World. No, I didn't. I went to Disneyland. And I hope I can eventually go back to Disneyland, and Disney World. But when I went there, I knew that this was not normal life. An outside, normal life, I'm going to say 90 to 95% of the time, I eat very well, and I eat on track, and I eat probably 10 things. And, from those 10 items, I have this sort of focus thing. If I feel like having chicken, I have chicken wings. If I feel like I have steak, I have burgers. I have either Quest pizza or chicken protein pizza that my husband or I make. That's 90% of what I eat and have eaten, and Built Bars. Built Bars are my treat. They're a protein bar that tastes they taste a little bit like, well, the ones I get are the salted caramel ones, and they're a little bit like a Milky Way without the nougat. Or if the nougat and the caramel were sort of mixed together into some ungodly creation. Some people absolutely hate the texture. I kind of like it. I love the taste of it, and the fact that it's not too high in calories and it's very high in protein. No sugar, you know, that's good. I think it's 3 net carbs. I'm not even sure. I should know that. But it's something that I enjoy. So I'll have, a Built Bar or two per day. Like I'll have them as desserts for lunch and dinner. Sometimes not for both, and sometimes I only do one. But that's 95% of my meals. And then 5%, or if I go, on a treat, I'll have something different. I'll have something big, like I had Dole Whip because I was in Disney. And if you're not familiar with what a Dole Whip is, and if you don't like pineapple, you're not gonna care. But it's one of those treats, and especially when I go now once every 5 years. Like that seems like, yeah, I can do that then. As long as I don't feel bad. Like if it makes me feel bad, I shouldn't, eat it. And I had when one of the days I had a little too much sugar. It made me sick to my stomach, and I'm like, okay, you know, I gotta clamp that down. And I just feel like I'm rambling today. I feel like this is a very rambly one, but I was going to post pictures, but I'm not gonna, because honestly, I look the same. I'm down 1 pound from last time. I look the same. I have been feeling stronger because I'm continuing to do the Pilates on Reformer. I'm getting stronger, but I don't have any visible muscle definition in the dress. I actually have, well, here, I'll do something that I haven't done before. I'll show you my arms. So this is my loose skin. I am hopefully, this is, my husband says this, to me, this is what bothers me the most. He doesn't notice it as much. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. I am starting, see, oh yeah, that's my bra. Let's see, sorry. You can kind of see that I'm getting, if I turn that way, you can see that there are muscles. There is loose skin here. It's not that much. Honestly, I don't have that much loose skin on my stomach area for the amount of weight I carried, but you can sort of see that there is some, I'm trying to turn to get the light on there. There's some muscle there. Can't see that in my pictures because I'm wearing a dress. I didn't do the sports bra and underwear route. I did the long dress, so you can't see that in there. But it feels good. Like it feels good to have that, and to be moving, and to be doing some of the exercises that, that I never could before. So functionally, I think that's wonderful. I think that I am, progressing along the route. Do I wish I was losing weight faster? Yes. Would I really love to lose 10 pounds in a month? Absolutely. I would love to be at 200 pounds down by my 2-year surgery anniversary. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't really think it's going to happen, but I'm being hopeful, and I am slowly moving towards doing fasting. Well, I've been doing intermittent fasting for probably, I think, all this year. I've been doing 16-8, or I've switched to 8-16. I've done a couple 19 and 20-hour fasts. I'm getting to the point where I want to do a 36-hour fast at the very least, maybe a 48-hour fast. I just don't, I don't know why I'm so scared about it. It's so stupid. It's like, and I keep saying, I say it out loud because I'm hoping to convince myself, I think. But it's not like I'm going into the desert or packing up a car and going somewhere and getting dropped off with no food. And, like if I get hungry, I can just freaking eat. Like if it just gets too hard, I can stop. But I think actually the thought of failing at doing it is one of my fears. That, it's like, oh, you can do it, fine, but if you fail at doing it, then you failed. And I don't know. I also don't know if it's going to make a big change in my weight. Like is, doing a fast occasionally going to make that change? I've already hyped my water. I get more than 100 ounces a day. I, don't eat breakfast. I still get, like my program specifically does not want you to drink protein shakes or do protein powders. The only time I do protein powders is if I do a protein waffle, which is one of my very occasional treats. And I have protein powder that is cinnamon crunch. So a scoop of protein powder, an egg, a little bit of baking powder, and some water mixed to a consistency like waffle dough, put in a waffle iron, and I have one of those little mini ones, and one of those is really all I need. And it's because I use the cinnamon crunch, it's very tasty. It's like a cinnamon sugar Eggo is the best way of describing it. And yes, so but my program does not have, because they don't want you to supplement with protein powders and drinks. They do not have, they do not say eat this amount of calories. They do not say eat this, get this amount of protein. You have to drink at least 64 ounces of water, which I blow by. And then they say 3 ounces of protein at a meal. I typically get easily between 60 and 90 protein a day, even not eating breakfast. So I'm not worried about my protein. My program is like, oh, we don't really want you to fast because then if you fast, you're not going to get enough protein. I'm like, I don't know if not getting enough protein for a day, or, like they say that most people when they fast, they make it up the next day, and you can't really make it up the next day because you have a limited amount of space you can put your food in. Yeah, okay. Your stomach is small enough that you can't put tons of food in it. But I think that's fine. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm doing good. I think I'm doing all right. I just, weight loss has been such a huge focus of mine for the past, over 2 years now, because I started this whole process in February of 2018. So it's, almost 2.5 years of focusing on weight loss and measuring it all the time and being aware of what I'm eating and making changes, making positive changes. And it's like, it's not that I am sick of it, like I'm not sick of doing this. I'm happy. It's frustrating to be moving such small amounts. And then eventually I know I'm not going to move at all. But it is the process, and that is that. All right, well, I am going to have dinner. So I have enjoyed talking to you all, and I hope you have a great month, and I will see you again next month, my 2-year anniversary, and I really, really hope that I have great news, but I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't. Bye.